Corkies and card tricks. They're only as complicated as you make them. Ooh. Paul Brown's Corky. What a lure. There's no lure out there that gets me as excited as a Paul Brown Corky Fatboy. You can fish this lure 365 days a year. It's an extremely versatile lure. Now let's get right into the basics of it, and by basics I mean the absolute basics of the lure. There's a bunch of different things you can do with it. These are the applications that I use to begin my day almost every day. Now there's many people that do it differently. They're not wrong. These are the ways that I do it, the way I've been doing it for 10-15 years now, and I wanted to pass that forward to you guys. 90% of the time I use a leader with this lure. Not only does it help keep the braid out of the split rings, but it gives it a better action. The action is achieved by the loop knot that I tie on it. In the description down below is a link to a video that I did previously that shows a very easy loop knot and a very easy leader knot to attach the leader to my Corky. So I recorded an on-water demonstration on how I use this lure. If you've been outside lately, you know that it is windy out there. I did my best to keep the wind levels down. I edited the audio a bit. It affected my voice some, but this is what we have versus waiting possibly till the end of the month for the wind to stop blowing. So these are just the basics of throwing a Corky. There's not a right way or a wrong way, but this is where I start right away. So all I really want to do is I'm giving it just a rhythm, just like walking the dog. Mary had a little lamb. But then what I'll do is I'll stop and pause it and let it sink. Now one thing that's very important to me is my rod tip always stays low, so that whenever I stop and pause it, I have plenty of room left to set the hook. So that's the most important part to me. But I'll give it anywhere between 3 to 7 to 10 twitches and stop and let it sit there. And every once in a while I'll burn the reel, and that'll make that lure invoke a reaction strike. But that's a pretty basic way of throwing this Corky. Now the one thing that I'd like you to take note of is this hand, unless I'm pausing it, it never stops moving. So even while I'm working the lure, I'm reeling, and that's what allows me to keep my rod tip down low and not end up with this action right here. A lot of people do it that way, it catches fish. I don't like it because when you get right here, that's whenever you're usually letting your lure pause and sink, and that's often when you get hit. Well, if your rod's right here when you get hit, then you have to get way back here to try to set the hook, and me personally, I would rather be prepared. But that's pretty well your basic action right there of working a Corky. It's effective, and it's a good foundation to get started with. Alright guys, hope that wasn't too tough on you. This is the Paul Brown Fatboy as it comes out of the package. It's pretty straight with no bend in it right whenever you get it. Now, you guys that have listened to me on the Bite Me podcast and other YouTube episodes and on the radio and whatnot, I've gotten a lot of correspondence from you asking for further clarification of how I bend this thing, so it's easier to show you than it is to tell you. First thing I do as soon as I get it out of the package is I'm going to bend the nose down almost as far as it'll let me. And it ends up with about that look right there. What this does is it helps the lure stay down, so whenever I throw it out, however deep I want it to be, let's say I want it 2 feet, I'm going to wait about 2.5, 3 seconds for it to sink down, and then as I'm working it, it's going to stay down in the water column better. If I work it fast, it's going to slowly rise up, but if I work it at just a moderate boom, 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 boom beat, it's going to stay about that depth. Second thing I do is I bend the tail down. And I don't get too wild with it. We had a bit of a miscommunication there on how much I bend it down. So here we are. That's about how far I bend it down. What that does, it's just going to help the nose. It's going to give that lure a little bit more of this action, and it's going to help it stay down. What's very important is that it's straight. You want it straight from the back. You hang it on shell, a fish hits it or something, takes the tail off, just even that much, this lure is not going to work correctly. So you always want to pay attention to keeping your lure straight. I'm constantly manipulating and flexing my lure throughout the course of the day. Alright, so now that we have it bent correctly, how do I work it? Now, I work it all sorts of different ways, but there is a particular way that I start each of my days with and then go from there. What I'm going to do, as soon as I get on the water, I'm going to throw it out, I'm going to let it sink a couple of seconds, and then it's a slow twitch, just like you're walking the dog with the top water, but subsurface. So I'm gonna throw it out, give it 1-2 seconds, and then I'm gonna twitch, 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 and then I'm gonna pause it. Here's the magic of the lure. Whenever you pause it, it's walking along, it's twitch, twitch, twitch. When you pause it, it's gonna fall and it's gonna do this belly wobble action right here. That is typically whenever you're gonna get your hits. Not all the time, but most of the time, that's when you get your hits. That's why I like to have my rod tip low, so that whenever that hit happens, I have all the way back here to set the hook. Instead of up here, it gets hit, I have to reel down and then set the hook. That's where that comes into. So anyhow, I'm twitch, 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 pause. Now, if I'm seeing bait really active and really crazy, I'm gonna twitch it faster and for longer periods of time. I may give it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 twitches quicker. If it's slow and cold and quiet out there, I'm gonna give it 1, 2, 3, and let it pause. So that's where I go with there's no wrong way to use it. You're gonna have to adapt to the conditions and what nature is handing you. So as far as learning the finite details of this lure, I make a large portion of my living guiding fishing trips based around learning how to fish this lure. If you're interested, if you'd like to shoot me an email, you can find my website above. Shoot me an email, we'll talk about it, we'll see if it works for you. I will be putting out more advanced videos as my channel grows and as this tutorial series gets going. But if you'd like to speak right now, shoot me a message, PM, hit me on the website. I'm always happy to talk to you, answer your questions. If you want to come with me, that's great, we'll have a good time. So that's it. That's the basics of working a Corky. There's more to it, of course, but this is the foundation that you need to really get started. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you're here, please hit the comment section. We're gonna type in, "Thanks, Paul." We're gonna thank Paul for such a great lure. Letting me know who made it to the end helps me later on when we start doing the giveaways. I wanna give it to the people that are sticking around and putting in the time with me. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, please like it. The more likes this video gets, the more I realize, hey, this is what people like, this is what people are wanting to see right now, and it lets me know to keep going with these tutorials. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.